So in that vein, I wanted to talk about the passing of one of the greatest scientists of all time, Mr. Stephen Hawking, who passed away this week on March 14th at the age of 76. And his work in theoretic physics and the discovery of black holes and the publishing of his best-selling book, A Brief History of Time, which was published in 1988, really set the scientific world on its ear in a way, as I said, that has not yet been incorporated or even begun to be dealt with, I don't think. So, in his last birthday party, his 75th birthday, he mentioned that it's been a glorious time to be alive and doing research into theoretical physics. Our picture of the universe has changed a great deal in the last 50 years, and I'm happy if I've made a small contribution. I want to share my excitement and enthusiasm about this quest. By that quest, he's talking about the passion and joy of unlocking the secrets of the universe. So remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder about what makes the universe exist. Be curious, and however difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. It matters that you don't just give up. And that's what I would say is living in the mystery. Looking at the stars. That's why it's a mystery. And that's why people who are too sure about what's really going on have a hard time. And in many cases, they're not helping. Let's just put it that way. Now, I talked about this quite a few years back on this program in relation to, and I thought this was the best illustration I had seen, and I think it still is, of mystery and our ability or lack thereof to embrace it. So you may remember back in March, well, it's actually the fourth, well, past the fourth anniversary of it, but 4 years ago this month, Malaysian airline flight 370 disappeared. And today, 4 years later, nobody knows where it is or what happened. Despite the equipment that we have today, lock boxes, black boxes, and image recorders, and all of that, all of our incredible technology that we have. This flight is just gone. It's gone. And this was confounding to experts in the field, specialists in, in aviation, I'm sure that you remember, like on the 24-hour news networks, they had all kinds of people coming up saying, listen, we're going to find this plane in today's time, today's modern time, with the technology we have. There's no way that we're going to, not find out what happened to this plane. And I remember saying to myself, and I said it on this show all those years ago, listening to these guys who were so sure, so sure, because they're paid to be, because they're comfortable with that, because that's their worldview is based on that. And if something happens that goes contrary to that, it's very disturbing when you've decided what the world is all about, and all of a sudden this thing happens that doesn't fit into what you think the world is all about. It's very disconcerting, to say the least. But nobody seemed to be able to embrace the fact that perhaps this was something beyond our ability to understand it just yet. And then, of course, they went over to other kinds of explanations. They talked to psychics and UFO experts. It could have been connected to those things, but others found that to be kind of silly. But here we are today. It's just gone. And so are those people. And it's understandable. For sure. It's tough to go through. But what I'll say, as I say every time we have these mass events that galvanize everybody's attention, that these are things we've created on that big self level that I was talking about. And these people who have disappeared, again on that high big self level that I'm talking about, made a choice to do this, step forward to do this. I think for reasons of giving us some sense of the unknown and mystery. And this is not, by any stretch of the imagination, this is not the first aircraft to ever go missing like this and not be found. I'm looking at a chart right now of all the missing planes. That haven't been found. This stretches back into the 19th. Them up. Understand yet? And we talked about and a Pentagon program, looking into it. But now here's a current article that came out this week, Tuesday of this week, in looking at this declassified evidence of UFO encounters that this secret organization had been gathering. And these have been released to the Defense Department and to the Academy of Arts and Sciences. And these videos chronicle 3 separate incidents that occurred between 2004 and 2015. But according to Christopher Mellon, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, There have been at least a dozen more such incidents that have been confirmed to have occurred since then. Oh, since 2015. Since 2015. At least a dozen. And in a recent Washington Post article, he describes the puzzling state of the U.S. government's response to this from the point of view of both an insider and private contractor, and why the lack of coherent response on the part of the government could be dangerous. Now, he had this role under both the Clinton and the Bush administrations, and he now is an advisor to the Academy for Arts and Sciences. And he started investigating the issue of UFOs after the 2004 incident involving an intercept by F-A-18s. And despite the sheer number of encounters that were being reported by the military, Mellon found that there is no coordinated effort to investigate these phenomena, with each Earth, it's probably even more urgent to figure out what's going on. The funding seems to be there because military has a lot of funds, but the it's really the desire, the will to do it. And so Mellon is saying it's time to set aside taboos regarding UFOs and instead listen to our pilots and radar operators. The tasks needs to be assigned to an official with the clout to compel collaboration between disparate and often quarrelsome national security bureaus, making use of information gathered from infrared satellite data, NORAD radar databases, and signals from human intelligence reporting. Congress should require an all-source study by the Secretary of Defense while promoting research into new forms of propulsion that might explain how these vehicles achieve such extraordinary power and maneuverability. But where does this head in the sand attitude truly stem from? Because it seems like they just don't want to know. Is it the established culture of ridicule and denial regarding UFOs? The potential inability of the military to that ridicule comes from a need to not know, a need to feel that the world is what we think it is, a need to feel ourselves the way we imagine ourselves to be. All right, moving on then. I'm going to give you some wellness tips because it's time for that portion of our program. Spring is just around the corner, and if you are an allergy sufferer or even slightly sensitive, you know, you're gonna have the sneezing and